In the second in a series on politicians who have moved back into the business world, I'm joined by Auckland Business Chamber Chief Executive Simon Bridges. Well, I guess it's fair to say you've kind of moved into the business politics world. Is that a fair summation?
Yeah, I think so. I think in a way that's an entree. In as much it's a great way to be in the business world. I'm really enjoying it. I am on some company boards. I do have, my own business interests that I've moved into, and obviously, like any business person, hoping to grow. And so, I think you're probably right. It's probably been a sort of a hybrid or a transition for me. Albeit I don't think it's inaccurate to say that I'm no longer a politician, albeit I deal with the political class, and I am a business person.
But presumably your political background is a real help in the job with the Auckland Business Chamber.
Look, I think so. I think what is true is, at the risk of being entirely immodest, political leadership does give you transferable skills and experience and expertise at a level. You understand, organisations, how to make things move, how to grease the wheels, if you like. You have a sense of realism about what can and can't happen, and that is at a level transferable into business, and certainly business associations, as you say.
But any pangs of regret as National is now back in government?
Sometimes I miss the adrenaline. I think there's no doubt politics comes with a lot of adrenaline. The phone is always going. The text messages keep flowing. That stops at a level after politics, and you have to get used to that. Business, despite what business people think, moves slower. And I think in truth, there's a lot of business people that don't sufficiently understand politics. They think they do, and they make the mistake of thinking it's very similar to business. It's not. It's in fact quite a lot more complex in its way, more multiple, if you like, or multipolar is probably the word I'm searching for. Many angles and things moving. The actors involved don't necessarily make rational in a business sense decisions, albeit they're acting rationally from their own kind of a personal position and political preferences. And of course, everything in politics plays out in the public eye. So I think it's true that business people don't necessarily look at politics with quite the respect for the skill involved they could or should. Equally that might be said at a level with politics. And all of that said, I think what I've learned is what's true coming out is some politicians, even serious ones who've done well in politics, struggle out in the what some call the real world. And I think the worst advice I ever got was, look, take your time, don't worry, it'll all come to you. Actually, no. When you're out in a small market like this, you need to take every coffee date. You need to look at every opportunity and listen and learn a lot, because you are moving from one very interesting but discrete field into another that's quite different. And you do need to be have a degree of humility, of learning, of listening from people in the new world that you find yourself in after a long time.
You're still in obviously a public role, but is there less public scrutiny now that you're out of politics, and do you feel a sense of relief from that?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I think what is true, even in media interviews, if I can say this, I don't want you now to start being mean to me because I've said this, but I think what is true is everything is challenged in politics at a level. A political leader or minister or senior opposition spokesperson can expect to have every fact challenged, checked, and the like. That is not so true in a sense of either the commentary around business and politics that I now at some levels do. I try to be a bit careful in the political arena, having moved from that into business, there is less scrutiny. And I suppose that's right, because it is much more in the reckons and analysis rather than decision maker. Of course, what's true is if you're a listed company or the like, there'll be scrutiny on your numbers and your comments. But as a generalisation, the scrutiny comes right off, and that's there's nothing wrong with that, Brent.
And I take it you get more time with your family and weekends?
I think that's right. I think what's true about life out of politics is not that it's not busy. I'm still exceptionally busy with the chamber, some other board roles, and the like. But there is a sense with which you can control your time more. You can make sure that there are spaces of time, and that's a luxury when you look at it from a political view. In politics, I think what people just misunderstand or underestimate it is, even if you're not working, a case of always being on the clock. You just never know when your leader, Chris Luxon or Chris Hipkins or James Shaw or David Seymour's going to call and there's a crisis and you need to be involved. And in fact, in the political world, those are happening behind the scenes all the time in a way they don't tend to at the same pace in the business world.
So you'd have a bit of sympathy then for those new ministers who've been sworn in.
What do they say? Drinking from a fire hydrant or whatever it is. I think that's right. And it is I think it's got better over the years in this regard. There's a bit more mentoring and training, but it is a sink or swim world. You're very much your own franchise. I remember junkie saying that. There's the brand there, but you need to make sure your particular McDonald's store is going well, and that's up to you. And that's why we see, some ministers who are outside of cabinet will shine. And they will make it into cabinet and climb that greasy pole higher. Some will vanish without trace. And that's true, of course, for cabinet ministers as well. Some we thought would go great, don't. Some people have underestimated, have grit and determination and savvy and go very well. That's that very slippery pole. Of course, all of that's sort of true in business as well. I suppose the points I'm making is it's somewhat less complex, less complex, I should say, in the business world. And the pace, I think business people don't quite get it, is somewhat slower.
Simon Bridges, thank you for your time.
Thanks very much.